my mates, welcome back to the cellblock Scorch. This is Scorch 17, and this is Peixe. The prompt this week was the word count is almost full from Bones. Funny thing about this is my last Scorch that I recorded was the one with the wedding reception, if we recall. I believe that was 15, yes. And so that was the wedding reception, right? And my littlest sibling talked to me after listening to the episode and was upset about it having ended on a cliffhanger. And I said, yeah, that's too bad. It ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm pretty sure I never continue that story, so I have no idea what happens next. I can't even tell you. And I wasn't even lying. I had no idea. This story leaves off... This week's Scorch is, starts exactly where the other one ended, so I guess we do get to resolve that cliffhanger. How exciting. So this is titled Aimal's Mildly Justified Freakout, and subtitled Aimal is Adorably Stupid and Nathaniel is Perfect as Usual, which is hilarious, because Bones' summary of this story is Nathaniel not as sketch, maybe. So we have very different perspectives on Nathaniel. And that would be more understandable if you had seen the Scorch where I first wrote about Nathaniel, which is explicitly referenced in this one. So maybe I'll explain after, maybe not. Who knows? But anyway, on with the Scorch. Aimal's cry echoes through my mind, frightening in a room so recently plunged into darkness. I'm not going to run, of course. I head toward the flickering light because I can sense Aimal is near it. Up close, I realize it's a tiny flame dancing on Nathaniel's palm. Nathaniel glances at me as I approach, but Aimal is completely rigid, eyes locked on Nathaniel. I touch Aimal's arm, but he's completely unresponsive. I catch Nathaniel's eye, he winks at me, and suddenly I'm in a lavish throne room. Aimal is here too, shouting at Nathaniel, who I swear to the heavens is lounging on the throne, eating grapes. On my appearance in what I assume is a mental landscape created by Nathaniel, Aimal cuts himself off and starts yelling at me. Didn't I tell you to run? He's the actual devil. I don't know why he's crashing your cousin's wedding, but he's going to kill everyone, and now we're trapped and can't do anything about it, and... Oh, do shut up, little telepath. I trapped you here because you attacked me. I brought a Lyra to calm you down. I'm a demon, not the devil. I'm here because my adopted brother is the unfortunate groom, and I didn't even start this chaos. And Lyra, kindly refrain from thinking of the heavens around me. I despise religion. Liar! I just came from a meeting with a select group of the able. We were visited by a spirit who told us everything about you. You're the devil. You once killed an entire Puritan village out of spite. Aimal's mouth keeps moving, but his voice cuts off. Nathaniel smirks, then stands from his throne and walks over to Aimal, who has stopped trying to speak in favor of glaring holes into Nathaniel. So you've met the bane of my existence. Dreadfully morbid, isn't she? Miss Taylor is terribly prejudiced, but enough of that. If we could focus on the matter at hand, the wedding reception is being attacked by some of the bride's former associates. Apparently criminals don't take kindly to their partners turning over new leaves and becoming highly successful advocates against them. Wait, you're not behind the attack? What are you... My cousin never... Why aren't you doing anything about the attackers? Relax, he says, the vision disappearing around us. We're greeted with the sight of masked men with guns and terrified guests. The leader is screaming something. I was giving him 50 words to prove to me he deserves to live. He's at 48.
Hey guys, it's Bones for Judge Comments. So I reread the submissions for this prompt, and man, this was such a hard week to choose. Crickets was super fun, really interesting world mechanics and magic systems. Peixe, meanwhile, was a direct continuation of the last Scorch she won from week 15, so it was cool to get a little more of what was actually happening there. They're both so good, and it was hard, but I think the deciding factor in the end was how the prompt was used. Crickets was interesting, as the word count was some nebulous magical concept that even the characters didn't know anything about, and I do want to learn more about what that was, but I am a sucker for savage lines from morally questionable people, and Nathaniel saying, I was giving him 50 words to prove to me he deserves to live. He's at 48. As the last line was just so good and punchy, and that's why I had to choose it. But again, would absolutely recommend reading Cricket's Ember on Patreon. It was so interesting. Yeah, that's all I had to say, so back to Peixi's comments.
Okay, and that ends our Scorch. I adore Nathaniel. He is a demon of some kind. I'm not really sure. This is technically kind of set on Earth, and then, you know, stuff is happening. There's a whole magic system with Aimal and Alira's thing, which I don't want to explain because it already exists in the Scorch that I wrote for that, which is on the Patreon somewhere. Anyway, I think Nathaniel is great. The Puritan village he killed was kind of awful. They didn't all deserve to die. He's also kind of awful. When I say he's great, I don't mean he's a good person. I mean he's a fun character. So, you know, there's that. Anyway, this world might end up somewhere at some point in time, but at present, no. At present, it's just something that exists only in this Scorch, you know? If I were to actually put this into a book, that would happen, like, years and years and years from now, and the whole thing would be rewritten, and it would no longer take place on Earth, probably, and, you know, it would be a whole nightmare and a half to do, so, at present, I have no plans, but who knows? It was kind of a fun world. I like Aimal and Alira's story, so there's that. It's a cool magic system. Anything else that I have to say? Oh, yes. Let me tell you guys what I prompted for the next week. Oh, and also, I was going to say, I've been avoiding recording the Scorch all day long because as a writer, you know, sometimes you go back and you read something you wrote years and years ago, and you read it and you think to yourself, wow, am I a good writer? And you want to know more about the story, you know? And sometimes you go back and you read something that you've written, and you think to yourself, this is literature? A 2-year-old could have written this. And that's how I feel about this Scorch. So, I don't know, it just didn't feel polished to me. Anyway, the prompt that I gave for the next week, for 18, is creaky doors make dull evenings so much more entertaining. And that, I have no idea where that came from. I'm not going to pretend to know. It's been too long. This was literally in 2018, so like 6 years ago. That's all I have to say, lovelies. Hope everyone's having a great day. Keep those fires burning, inmates. Ciao, ciao, pika-pows. I lied! There's another thing I wanted to say. I wanted to apologize if my voice sounds off because I'm sick with a cold. And also, I wanted to say, Bones has posted to YouTube a 3-hour rant on Avatar The Last Airbender, the TV live-action adaptation. And I've watched it, and I thought it was hilarious. So, you know, enjoy watching it. I watched it on 2x speed. I recommend doing that. Who has 3 hours to actually sit and listen? Bones hates when people watch things at not 1x speed, so, you know, if you do that, keep it secret, keep it safe. But, anyway, keep those fires burning, inmates.
Okay, I lied. I have an addendum after listening to Peixi's stuff while editing. So 2 things. First of all, I need to explain the Nathaniel not as sketch. Nathaniel the person is absolutely sketch, and probably only more so in this Scorch than before, but I referred to this universe in my head as the Nathaniel universe, because he seemed to be the connecting thread. And Peixe, in the Scorch Nathaniel first appeared in, wrote about that story of Nathaniel killing all those Puritans, right? And the ghost mentioned in this Scorch is a girl that dies at the end of that Scorch. But when she first wrote it, Peixe looked me dead in the eyes and told me that this brainwashed Puritan girl was saved by Nathaniel, and he kept her in a flipping cave until she got over her Puritan reprogramming and they were like friends again. And I was so mad about it. raised such a stink about it that she actually rethought the plot, and in this Scorch brought her back as a vengeful ghost. So when I said Nathaniel not a sketch, the meaning was that the universe mechanics of having that brainwashed Puritan girl get over her religious brainwashing by being locked in a cave by the being she saw as the actual devil was retconned into something actually reasonable. Number 2, don't let Peixe lie to you about me being unreasonable. I am often unreasonable, but when I'm not, take me seriously. Ready? I don't care if you watch a YouTube rant on 2 times speed. I don't care if you watch it on 5 times speed. Live your truth. I didn't sit down and pace it out and edit every shot and sound mix every moment. I'm just going off. Peixe is a cursed individual who watches movies and shows on 2 times speed. Those were created to be watched at a pace. They have music. They have dramatic pauses. They have curated shots, specifically timed to convey their intended meaning. If you watch that on 2 times speed, you are a cursed being, and I will not take that back. Don't let her trick you into thinking I'm unreasonable by overgeneralizing a very specific and thought-out media commentary to YouTube rants. Also, I can't believe she outed my nonsense like this. Is nothing sacred? Anyway, keep your fires burning, inmates. The Cellblock Scorch is a production of Stellacore, an independent group of nerds sharing their obsessions with the world. We can be reached at thestellacore@gmail.com, through comments on your podcast platform of choice, our Instagram, Stella_core, and at our YouTube, also called Stellacore. Feel free to check out our other productions on our YouTube channel or our cosplays on Instagram. If you would like to support our creative endeavors, you can give a one-time tip to the Ko-Fi of the writer of your favorite Scorches, or check out our Patreon, linked in the show notes. There, you can access the winning Scorches and episode transcripts for free, or sign up for Spark level support for $5 a month to gain access to all of the Scorch submissions.